Hello everybody and welcome to this multicam video. So you're probably wondering why I'm appearing like that, but some of you have been asking me about what was up with all these to be continued videos with QuickCam black and white, QuickCam color, the Portman MIDI interface, the scanner and the printer. So that was part of a double project where I wanted first to validate this assumption that, you know, I'm an old person, things were better before, and basically to measure what the improvement has been compared to what we had in the 90s compared to what we have now. So it's always nice to compare like the webcam, so that was easy to use video conferencing. That one was the very first webcam released by Connectix. This is a MIDI interface on parallel port. I also have some, but on USB. This scanner compared to my Canon high definition, high DPI scanner. And the second thing was I was looking for a way to add peripherals to my retro computer, like the Atari Mega or the Eric. And it's very difficult to add USB devices to retro computers because just the USB stack itself is very difficult. It's not simple. Plus the drivers are very complicated in general. Generally speaking, the solution that people use is to use some interface using things like a Raspberry Pi and other device which is order of magnitude more powerful than the computer you want to use with, which I don't really like as a concept. So parallel port seemed like a good idea. It's relatively simple. All these machines have it. Unfortunately, when you start playing with it, you realize that other people did not like PCs because, you know, IBM, world domination on thing, and everybody look at their Amigas on Spectrum on thing and say, yeah, but I can also drive a printer, except not really, because most of these devices have just the minimum pins available to actually print out, but it's not really 100% with all the ports. You can't check things like the paper is stuck, or yeah, it's not 100%, which is a problem because most of these devices will not work. That being said, there are possible solutions, like on the Mega ST, I had something called the Homeport Ethernet adapter, which allowed to use a parallel port Ethernet card on the ST, so it basically emulates a complete parallel port on the expansion bus. So this is something which is doable. So that the hardware part and the software part was basically reproducing the drivers, which is not very easy. And these things are old, so I did not want to spend weeks or months trying to get something to work to finally realize that the hardware is actually broken. So to do that, I needed to get some proper retro PC. But when I moved to Norway, I did not have any of these things anymore. So on my limited room, so I decided to go for a thin client. So that one is a Wise. It has a VISE3. It has some parallel port, D-sub, PS2 connectors, which is important for the QuickCams because the QuickCam is using that for the power, because not all PCs parallel port have enough juice to deliver the power. But I had problem with that one, so I had to get a second one, which is the one which is actually driving the Connectix QuickCam right now. So let me introduce these cameras. So the thin client is there, and as I was showing on one of the first videos, connected to the parallel port. Here we have the power connector, and all that goes to this thing here, which is the core QuickCam. And the video, the D-sub output of this is connected to the VGA capture card, which I was using on a previous video to show how it works on Mega ST. And here, that's our comparison board. So sorry for the ugly state of that. This camera was glued on the wall. But so we have the Connectix QuickCam VC, so VC for video conference, which you can see on the top left screen. It's from 1998, and is doing 320 by 240. So this is the one here. Then we have the Microsoft LifeCam VX1000, which is much more recent, from 2009. So it took about 10 years to go from 320 by 240 by 640 by 480. And then we have the classic, the Logitech C920, which is from 2012 and does full HD, so 1920 by 1080. And here we have a much more recent Svive, that's the local brand from the shop in Scandinavia, also called N300 or Luna 3. So it's from 2021, but it's also full HD. And basically it has the same spec, but it's not even as good in terms of noise, light quality. So here the LifeCam and the QuickCam, they are doing an okay job. Okay being defined as you can recognize me, you can see the Auric logo on the back, you can almost see that there is an Auric in the cabinet behind me, you can see there are books, you can almost read QuickCam behind me. But it's because I have a massive amount of light here. If I'm turning all these lights off, so not sure you can see the difference, but the Logitech is still okay. The Svive at the bottom is now a bit darker. The LifeCam is actually still okay, but the Connectix QuickCam is really struggling with the light. Yeah, so that's ready. It's ready. So I have a lot of many more projects to work on, including making a demo, which I promised for the Atari, finishing my Auric game Encounter HD. So this, you're probably not going to have any update on this parallel port devices project this side of the year. So it's a long-term project. But I'm open to any suggestion about basically how to interface these things, either on the Auric or on the Atari. The interesting thing is that both machines are using the same implementation for the printer. They are using the YM chip, one of the 8-bit port, which is also why they both failed in the same way. There is simply not enough signals on one of the 8-bit ports to do that. I got some suggestions about using a second VIA on the expansion bus. Somebody else suggested maybe using Arduino, like Arduino Nano, to do the conversion using some simple protocol like sending nibbles and driving a full parallel port on the other side. That could work as well. Ideally, I'd like to find a solution where I can do the development on PC, because doing that natively on the Atari or Auric is not super efficient. On being able to test that the device work would be nice. I know it can be done. There are some guys who made some Apple II code on hardware to drive the color QuickCam, but he was using some Apple expansion card, which provided a full parallel port. It's easier when you have the hardware working for it. Yeah, so I guess that's it. If you want to see the details, just go and look at the 5 small videos. They're all very short, like from 1 to just 6 minutes or something like that. And that will give you a good idea of how these things work, including all these Polaroid photos I printed, which I think are looking surprisingly okay for something printed on almost 20 years old hardware. And that's all for today. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.